I started playing football when I was young, actual football. Yeah, I reached about 20 years of age and I felt like I wasn't at the point where I wanted to be. And I got one of the worst injuries, the first of my career. It was tough. I was actually about to join one of the biggest teams in Cape Town, where I live in South Africa. I made a very difficult decision to stay in football, but obviously I was too young to go into a coaching role in actual football. So I thought, you know what, I always loved playing FIFA, I always loved gaming, and maybe if I put enough time and effort into it, I can actually make a career out of it.
Prophet with three. He's killed four players now. Ready for the dog. In from Yilmaz. It's a disaster. Is there for the shot? Dundon!
I'm Gator, or Blake from the Atlanta Reign. I play main tank. I guess like I always was really competitive, just like early on as a kid. I would just sit there and I would play like just console games. I would like 1v1 my brother for just hours and hours and hours. And then I always kind of watch competitive games. Like sometimes I'd watch like Call of Duty or Halo or stuff. Just as I got older and older, I got more time to just spend like just grinding games. So yeah, I guess I kind of always wanted to do it. I was just never like able to until Overwatch came out.
I'm Jappy Mabuza. Gamer tag is JappyM. I'm a Street Fighter 5 player for Goliath Gaming. Every country had like the arcade culture, you know. Me and my friend, what we used to do is like, so we'd like dominate the competition this side in my township. And then now we wanted to play other guys. So we'd travel, we'd save our money. On the weekend, we'd take cabs to other townships where we like hear that, okay, no, there's a guy in this township. Then we'd actually like, sometimes we'd even like give him money to play. See, is this guy actually even strong, you know? And then when the consoles came in, arcades slowly started dying down. Everybody started moving into console. I've always wondered, like, is there an actual tournament scene? And then I think it was 2017, I discovered a tournament by mistake. I went to it. And then the guys who were there, like, they've been competing in these tournaments for quite some time, you know. I'm only used to like the arcade culture. I didn't really know the esports aspect about it. So nerves also got to me and I lost my first tournament. And then the guys are like, nah, man, just go on YouTube. You'll see this thing is actually big. You know, when I went on YouTube, I was actually shocked at how big esports has grown over the years, you know. And it's not just in fighting games, even other games as well. So I was like, okay, then I started following into the esports culture scene and trying to get into it. And that's how I ended up how I am now.
My name is Thabo Moloi. I'm a professional FIFA player, specifically for Goliath Gaming, and I'm a Red Bull athlete. I used to love competing against my friends in FIFA. I used to be the best amongst all my friends, but then I actually discovered that there's like FIFA competitions. I used to watch them like for like a year before I started competing, so I could see like how these guys compete, that you can actually go to events for playing FIFA. That sounded like a sick idea to me.
I'm Talani Sishi. In-game name is Lata. Been in the esports industry in South Africa for the past 20 years. Started off casually, all the way to competitive. Played for teams like Energy Esports, Bravado Gaming. Eventually started my own Big Five, and then eventually moved into management at Goliath Gaming at the start of this year. And basically work on the back end of esports with the brands, the players, organizing campaigns, executing them, and all that jazz. Before that, I was a man of rugby. I played for the Sharks under 18 and 19 in South Africa, representing them. And yeah, after the injury, esports took over. It started off with just a group of friends. We were just at an internet cafe, just competing against each other. And then we realized we were actually not bad at this game. So we just kept going more and more often. And we ended up being sort of the best in that internet cafe.
So my name is Stephen Fumos. I am employed by Goliath Gaming as a mentor coach, as a mentor, as somebody that's just generally involved in player relations. I grew up with gaming and had been there since, before I was even 10 years old, we were already, that was around the age that we're getting into it. Once I was in my late teens, early 20s, I started to become more interested in psychology, philosophy, just anything that was about people, the humanities essentially like that. And that eventually led me to the decision, okay, cool, I want to pursue psychology. I want to get into this as a career like that. And I initially thought, okay, this now involves me having to put gaming on the back burner or on the side and focusing on my career. But as I was starting to pursue psychology, that was around the same time that Goliath Gaming was starting to form. And then I started to have these realizations that, wait, my two fields can actually come together here.
My name is Giulio Bianchi. I'm 22 years old. I'm an accounting student, and I'm also a FIFA player or an esports player for Goliath Gaming. Being able to compete and to qualify, it was one thing off my bucket list. I feel like I've already achieved my goal in esports. So being able to, be in the same venue, in the same arena, in the same room as 64 of the best players in the world, being able in 2018 to call myself a top 64 player in the whole world was fantastic for me. For someone that's, that was a no one, that started from scratch, started with the goal, with the dream of achieving something and working towards it, and just being able to also meet my esports idols as well, and just to take a photo with them. I mean, it's like a dream come true.
Going into the tournament, I just wanted to win one game so I can get money to buy the next FIFA. At the same time, I wasn't thinking about winning the tournament, so it put less pressure off me. I was just enjoying myself or just having fun. So when I won the tournament, it was life-changing, if I'm being honest, because after that I got so many opportunities. Now I just get things for free, basically. I can get FIFA for free and all those things. So it's crazy how life has changed from back then to now.
So when Repo announced Repo will hit the streets, I think me and the 7 other players were really just happy to get that free flight to go to Cape Town. When I won, I was actually numb. I didn't even know how to feel because it's always been a dream to go and compete overseas. In Africa, it's really hard to participate in the Capcom Pro Tour because all the tournaments are outside of Africa. So I was actually numb. Even when I was going on that flight, I was still numb. It only settled in when I actually landed in Japan, oh snap, I'm actually in Japan off gaming.
I was really trying to make Al at that point. Knew I had a really good shot. I was really, really far in quite a few tryouts actually, and a couple other teams that offered me, but I was just waiting to see if Atlanta was going to offer, because that was a team I wanted to go to most, especially since it was closest to home. So once they offered, I just literally accepted whatever they offered me, just because I wanted to be on the team. It's a lot more fun than I expected, and also a lot more stressful than I expected. It's a lot more I guess just an emotional thing. I didn't expect there to be so much personality on my team and other teams and stuff. So yeah, I've actually enjoyed it a lot more than I even thought I would.
When I came into esports, I was motivated and inspired to compete at the highest level at the global series. I worked day in, day out to make it work. I put in so much effort, especially when no one was watching. When everyone went to sleep, I would be studying the game, trying to improve.
At the time, I didn't have a PS4. I was still playing on PS3, and I was playing the old versions, and I was only playing with with my brother and his friends. Then what happened from there is now we're oh, there's Street Fighter 5 on PS4, and the game was so different. And so what me and my brother were doing, we're actually watching YouTube, and then after we'd go to a tournament and we'd show up early just to try out what we were seeing on YouTube. We got lucky that one of the guys actually heard about that, and he was nah, okay, you don't have to do this. Come to my workplace every Friday and come jam, come practice. Until I eventually, I got a job, then bought my own console. I still do watch YouTube videos because I'm very passionate about the scene, so I'm always watching tournament footage.
Contenders for me was just a good stepping stone to getting into AL, because since I'd say my first ever real team was literally the Atlanta Academy team. The only other team I really ever played on was a team that I made with friends, and there was no coaching, no structure. really not even any scrims. It was just show up and let's just play. And somehow that worked out really well. So yeah, it was just a good like experience to like put my time in. So I enjoyed it. It was really fun. It was a really fun team to play on.
So when it comes to the gaming aspect, right? So with traditional sports, there's a physical cap. You can't actually train for straight 6 to 8 hours physically. Your body will burn out. You'll just fatigue, and your body can't go on. With esports, it's different. You can literally sit at your PC for 36 hours straight grinding. But you know, it's hindsight, right? You don't actually realize it's actually damaging your body, damaging your mental state, ruining. I mean, your eyesight, your back's probably curved. You don't understand or realize these small nitty-gritty things, and that's what I mean we kind of try to do with our players here at GG. When it comes to that, we look at the hours, we give them a minimum, you know, try, you know, play above, you know, 60 hours in a 2-week cycle. But when a lot of the players, if you really want to win, you're gonna dive deep in. I remember doing again 100 hours because there was a tournament, you know, around the corner, so I wanted to just get in as much time and be sharp, you know.
Some of the research is definitely showing that there is this correlation, not only towards depression and extensive computer gaming, but also things like anxiety. And that's something I'm actively interested in. And at the moment, it doesn't seem like we fully understand which way the arrow goes. Is it that gaming and playing video games makes people slightly more depressed? Or is it that depressed people are gravitating more towards gaming because they're finding some solace in that?
My teammate Julio, I think he's still the best now, but then in FIFA 18, that guy was so insane. Like, he was so like nobody could touch that guy. I just wanted to be like on his level, something close to his level. I learned a lot from him. Obviously, sometimes like I would try things that he does, then I would fail. Then maybe he motivates me. Even like personally in my life, we know each other like on a personal level. It's not just about like esports. We're in the same team. We know each other personally also, so he helps me. It makes me make like the right decisions in life also and all that.
Me and Tabo, we have a close relationship, a close connection. He's such a talented kid as well. Before he came onto the scene, we used to speak a lot. He used to ask me for tips and advice. Because he's so young, I always wanted to help him grow. I knew he had potential, so I was sort of like a mentor to him as well. As a teammate, it was fantastic to be there for him and to also get him to the level where he's at now. You know, we're on the same level now. I also give him lots of valuable tips that I wouldn't give anyone else, because I know someday I'll stop playing, I'll retire, but he'll keep going. I want him to be able to compete at the highest level and to hopefully become world champion one day. You never know.
There's so many avenues of esports, and there's so many ways esports have are really like changing the whole mentality on how people are viewing gamers in general. Even in my country, like when people found out like I went to Japan of gaming, it was like now then people are like, damn, gaming is actually now becoming something serious.
I think esports in South Africa is getting more and more exposure, and it's making a lot more people interested in esports, because esports has like a lot of money involved in it. And like I think people now, they're just like investing more into esports.
You got traditional sporting clubs in America and Europe, football clubs, American football clubs, even cricket clubs are now picking up esports teams, FIFA players, Counter-Strike players, League of Legends players. The masses are already there, right? It's just coming down to giving it a bit more time to grow, investing in a bit more, and making sure it's steady growth that doesn't turn into a bubble and pop.
I've learned so many wonderful things regarding life in general, and I've also met wonderful people. I've done things for the first time through esports.
What a great opportunity it's been just to be able to work with all different players from different walks of life, and that I get to just step in, have a genuine conversation, try to be of some form of value to this person's life. It's already done me so much good for just people skills, for just relating, for getting out there in the world, for just feeling integrated in communities, to feel my being extended out into the world's already been great.
It's just kind of an experience you won't get anywhere else.
When I was playing football, my parents were always there on a Saturday or on a weekend, shouting for me, being there for me. It makes a difference. I mean, everyone just wants someone there just to lead the way and just to say after a loss, you know, it's fine. Next time you'll win. Or when you win, there's people celebrating your victory. So especially in esports, I was able to convince my parents that I can actually make something from it and I can generate an income. I hope everyone that's out there starting or that wants to start, I hope they can convince their parents as well, or anyone, their guardian, that they have a vision, that they have a goal, and hopefully they'll get the support and backing as well.